Hello, hello. Hello, Emma. Welcome to Techstars Columbus Demo Day. OH. Excellent. Uh, okay, so first things first, I'm sick. So you're going to potentially get a more lackluster performance from me up here than you would normally get. And if I don't hug you or shake your hand afterwards, I hope you understand why. Elbow bumps all around. Um, okay, with that preamble aside, it's been a year, actually a little over a year since this program started. So I wanted to spend a moment just reflecting on the last year. So over the last 12 months, we've brought companies from all over the globe here to experience all that this community has to offer. And the result of that, well, companies from our fall cohort have raised several $1,000,000, including Drive Capital's investment in Doohickey, I would say the next Columbus unicorn in the making. And thank you. But Ryan and Rob should take the credit for that. Definitely not me. Their success and the momentum that's being built by the 12 companies that you're going to hear from tonight has actually made Techstars Columbus one of the more sought after programs in all of the Techstars portfolio. If you compare applications for our spring 2025 cohort, which starts in March, applications are up 110% than they were when we started this program a year ago. And that, I think, means there's a bright future ahead for us. That bright future is authored by the hard work and self-sacrifice of a bunch of folks that I'm about ready to highlight for you all. And that starts with the Techstars Columbus team, Gabby, Autumn, and Ohm. This is actually Gabby's 10th program across 3 cities at Techstars. And her insights, deep insights about the investing and fundraising ecosystem are an invaluable resource to founders in this program. Autumn joined us this fall, and her fresh perspective and renewed energy has brought new life to the programming of Techstars Columbus. And Ohm, our student intern, first ever Ohio State student intern from the prestigious, sorry, I don't want to leave this out, the prestigious IBE program here at Ohio State. He's come in and done this university proud. By the way, he's like on the market, so someone should try to talk to someone's should talk to him after this agenda is over if you're looking for an incredible, bright young mind to hire. Okay. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our EIRs, Alan and Drashay. They've come back to this fall program. They were part of our spring program, and they are super mentors for founders here at Techstars Columbus. Their sage counsel is invaluable both to the founders, but also to the team, including myself. And I consider them great friends and a critical asset to this program. Thank you, Alan and Drashay. All right. Speaking of critical assets, I'm looking out across the audience and I'm seeing a few dozen of the mentors we have in this program. Mentors, and you've probably heard this before if you've heard me talk or you've heard anyone at Techstars ever talk about mentors. Mentors are the backbone of a Techstars program. Their insight and expertise are like a cheat code to our founders. And for this program, over the last year, we've had 250 people operate as mentors, giving their time and expertise to our founders. In fact, you're going to see several of these mentors up on stage sitting in one of these chairs in a little bit, which just underscores how much their thought partnership is critical to these companies' success. So thank you to all the mentors here and all the mentors who are watching this live stream somewhere are going to see this recording. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Okay. If mentors are the backbone of a Techstars program, friends and family are the backbone to Techstars founders. And you'll see a couple of that friends and family up here behind me. Um, Starting a company, it's kind of an act of faith. And building one, it's filled with endless, harsh moments and difficult times. And it's the partners, the spouses, the parents, the siblings, the kids, the BFFs, the pets. Those are the people that help get you through those tough times. So thank you to the friends and family for their unwavering support and endless patience behind all the founders that you're going to see tonight. So Techstars and our founders, we actually owe quite a bit of debt to the generosity of corporate partners that we work with who give us and our founders discounted services and products that are critical to helping startups grow. So thank you to all the folks behind me who are our global network partners. Okay, I'm almost off the stage, and you can hear much more interesting folks like Shireen and Ratmir and all these companies talk in a moment. But I do want to spend a second just kind of talking about Shireen and Ratmir as partners and champions of this program. As some of you, maybe all of you might know, Ohio State, it's kind of a big place. And across that vast expanse are top thinkers and incredible resources that startups would kill to have access to. And conversely, a lot of those top minds would love to collaborate with. The dots just need to be connected. And Shireen is that dot connector for this program. Her and Chloe Johnston and the Center for Software Innovation have been relentless in sort of kicking down doors to make those connections happen. And you're going to hear a bunch of transformative, exciting relationships that have been forged during this program from some of the pitches here today. And those would not have happened if it was not for Shireen, Chloe, and several other OSU faculty and staff. Some of you here tonight. I'm like seeing some of you standing right in the back of the room right now. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of them for making this big place feel just a little bit smaller to us. And then lastly, you're going to actually hear from Ratmir a couple times tonight, which is like a true testament to his commitment to this program. This fall, he spent time telling his own entrepreneurial journey to these companies, giving them feedback on their pitches, and delivering one-on-one sales and marketing support. I think his presence in this program is a superpower, and I'm super grateful for that. Okay, that's enough of me talking. I'm gonna make this click. I'm going to welcome Shireen to the stage in a second. I just wanna say, you guys are in for a treat tonight. The stories that you're going to hear and the delivery from these incredible 12 companies are gonna blow you away. And I can't wait for the next hour and a half or so. So with that said, I want to invite Shireen Agarwal, Executive Director of the Center for Software Innovation at The Ohio State University. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Tim, and for starting off your remarks with saying how you're sick and handed me this. So thank you for that. But it's so great to see everybody today. Thank you so much for coming out. I'll say a couple of quick words, just tagging on to what Tim, started with. The ventures that have come through this program are incredible, and this cohort is an amazing representation of that. I've gotten to know so many of these founders through the last 12 weeks, and it's been just such an amazing experience. And so thank you for sharing this part of your journey with us as well. In terms of like the amount of passion that they have for the problems that they're solving, it is pretty incredible, and you're going to definitely see that in all of their presentations today. But like the amount of depth of understanding the customer or understanding the user or understanding the problem, it is very deep, and it comes from a really deep place, and that's just been very amazing to see. The other part of it is that they have become such a critical part to this community. I think about how so many of them have also been talking to whether it's researchers or faculty or other parts of the university, but also spending time with students. And that part is also just incredibly remarkable. I've talked to several students that have in some way said, hey, this person helped coach me or helped me, or I, was working on a startup idea and they let me ask them questions. And that's also a pretty big thing while you're also working on your own venture. So thank you for that. And thank you also to this entire community that consistently comes out, supports, and makes a huge difference. And it's very palpable. I will say, even as I was moving back to Ohio, the community and the parts about just how everybody opens doors and that consistently stays part of the ethos here is incredibly remarkable and so kind of important and just very genuine. And then how that also is represented within this program, we can all feel. And Tim showed the screen of kind of all the folks that have been involved, and there's been that 200 plus folks that have been involved. Thank you for your consistent support for this ecosystem. It makes a huge difference. And also want to take a moment to talk about the Techstars team here. They are absolutely incredible. And Gabby, Autumn, Ohm, just like in terms of everything, running all of these pieces, figuring it out, running super hard on a consistent basis. They do that day in and day out, and I think it sets like that kind of precedence and momentum. And then to take a moment also to talk about Tim and Sarah. They moved here. And so we have two new folks to Columbus. They've set up residence here. And also, whenever I talk to other people in this community, they've all met Tim. And that's like a pretty remarkable thing to have done in a very short period of time. But he is like, goes out, creates and cultivates those relationships. And that is the entire team here, all the people around it, community around it, the founders, like they really make kind of what is not just Techstars Columbus, but this entire kind of component of this growing ecosystem. So thank you for that. And thank you also to all of the Ohio State folks that have consistently been supportive and also helping to make these. I would say I am not necessarily the dot connector. It is everybody helping me figure out which dots to put together to kind of make that magic. And thank you to Ratmir and his team for all of the vision behind how these components of the ecosystem can come together and the importance and the energy that you put behind this program as well as all of our initiatives. So I won't keep you from his remarks and the demos, but thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Shirin. I think we have great leaders like Tim and Shirin, and I'm absolutely sure about our success. And yeah, I also want to thank the team that you have built at the Center for Software Innovation and at Techstars Columbus. Today is kind of a double special day for me. I just realized this morning when I was getting ready to come to Columbus. First, this is our second cohort of 12 fantastic companies, startups and founders. Awesome founders. I already met all of them and very excited to hear the pitches or demos today. So super exciting. And second, why today is a very special day is if you go on Google and type, or OpenAI, whatever, ChatGPT, type Vim news, you will find out what happened today. But let me tell you the story first before you go on Google or ChatGPT. So I remember when me and my partner were building our first software startup in Columbus back in like 96, 97, 98, we decided to go to Silicon Valley. So on the way back, on the plane, like red eye, we were discussing like what makes Silicon Valley so special. So, and we couldn't agree. We didn't know, like we didn't understand. But when we came, people started asking us, like, how can we make Columbus or Central Ohio? Again, I'm talking about 98, right? So 1998 or 97, we visited our friends in Silicon Valley. And people started asking us, how can we make Columbus the next Silicon Valley? And I was thinking about it. And then I realized that, yeah, that's how we make it. And I remember my story in Silicon Valley. We were at the bar drinking with my friends. And by the way, California was the first state that prohibited smoking inside. So I had to go outside. I was smoking back then. It was almost 25 years ago. So I was just smoking and listening how this 20 years old guy, young guy, right? So was trying to ask for a date, this beautiful girl, 19 years old girl, I don't know, maybe 18, I don't know. I didn't pass the age. And he was bragging about his startup, right? So it's like, yeah, what you've done in Columbus? I would be bragging about my car or some apartment, my, job, whatever. But he was bragging about, so the whole Silicon Valley was about, everybody is dreaming about starting their startup, right? So everybody is talking about one thing, startups, right? So I said, yeah, when it's not about anything else except those are core values or cultural values, right? So if the values are building your own startup and everybody is talking about them, then that's when we become the Silicon Valley. And the purpose of this event and the Center for Software Innovation to make Columbus the next center of software innovation, right? So the hub, Central Ohio and Columbus. To do that, we only need to do one thing, that everybody start talking about the idea for the startup, right? So yeah, only maybe 5% will try. By the way, my wife used to live in Silicon Valley, and she's like, everybody is talking, and it's like they're like, nobody, like they're afraid to start, right? So the percent is still small, the people that start. But my point, why do they start? Or why they're talking about? You know why? Because of Google, because of Apple, because of other success, right? So they see millions and billions and trillions, and that's why they start thinking about it, right? So I always say, like, being an entrepreneur is similar to being like a successful athlete or a successful musician or successful artist. All these people are driven by one thing, recognition from their peers, right? So they want to be recognized. It's ego in a good sense. It's just in basketball, it's an NBA championship, in hockey or in science, it's a Nobel Prize, and here is something else. And in business, it turns out that KPI is money, right? So it just happened to be, right? But still, you are driven by, not so much by money, but by ego to make the difference, right? So, but coming back to my idea, why they're all talking about their startups or thinking, like on Monday morning, the only thing that they're thinking, they're working for Google, but they're thinking about their startup, right? So why they're thinking? Because of Google, because of Apple, because of OpenAI, and so on and so on. So when, coming back to today's news, I just want to connect the dots. Today's news. So Veeam announced this morning that they sold 13% of Veeam for $2 billion, valuing Veeam at $15 billion. The company that me and my partner sort of started in Columbus. I mean, we started in Europe, but when we decided to expand, and at some point, the headquarters we built here in Columbus. Now we have a new CEO, and he moved it to Seattle, but at some point, so the company that effectively was started here, and we all have to celebrate. Again, I don't want to brag, but let me brag a little bit, right? So for a minute, because bragging is good so that everybody starts thinking how they're going to build their next 15 billion startup, right? So yeah, today is a great day. Two great things, Demo Day and Veeam being valued by the largest funds in the world, the largest funds in the world, including, by the way, secretly, Microsoft also invested in Veeam as a strategic investor and strategic partner. Because Vim moves a lot of data to Azure and AWS. Vim customers move using Vim platform for data security, data backup. So now I want to, like, 1 minute about Center for Software Innovation, which is run by Shirin, which we got very lucky, which was started about a year and a half ago with Shirin, because she's doing great things. What is Center for Software Innovation? And Techstars Columbus is part of this, the Center for Software Innovation. Center for Software Innovation has 4 pillars. Again, the goal is to make Columbus and Central Ohio the next software and AI hub for innovation. And the way we're going to do it by talking about our startups, and every person in Ohio has to talk about their startup, his or her startup, on Monday morning to their husbands, relatives, friends, and that's our goal. That's how we're going to achieve it. Not that difficult. Just start talking about startups, right? So. And the Center for Software Innovation, which is powered by Ohio State University, or part of the Ohio State University program, has 4 pillars, as I mentioned. First is education, learning. So we want to create the best curriculum that teaches our students entrepreneurship, software, AI, computer science, innovation. Second, we call it career. We want to help our students to get the best jobs, internships, or start their own companies as career opportunities. Third one is the community. So this center attracts this community through different events. The most successful event we just had back in October, the Builders Conference, Construct.io, the Builders Conference, and finally the entrepreneurship pillar. So Techstars is just only one of the pillars of the Center for Software Innovation. There is a building coming in probably in 2-3 years in Carmenton Innovation District at West Campus in Columbus. Is being architected right now, so it will be the center, but we have plenty of space to get together as a community. But yeah, those 4 pillars, again, learning, education, curriculum, careers, internships, community, events, community, and entrepreneurship in the form of Techstars Columbus. My final comment is about our founders today. Again, I have tons of comments that I want to make about being at the right time, at the right place. People frequently ask me, it's like, what does it take to create a successful company? I say, it's easy. It's 3 things: being at the right time, at the right place, and creating a brilliant product, right? So I think we're at the right time because AI and software revolution at the right place, which is Columbus or your particular marketplace. Like, place could be defined broadly, like your market is the place. Whatever software you are developing is your place. So, now it's up to you to develop a brilliant product. But my advice, people ask me, like, what advice I would give to founders. One advice, like, I started my first company almost 30 years ago here in Columbus, back in early days of the internet, 94, 95, 96. By the way, today's days are very similar in terms of AI and other technological breakthroughs. It's very similar to 93, 94 when we got the first browser in the form of Netscape, right? So, but my advice, only one: believe in yourself. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fail. What determines the entrepreneur is that entrepreneurs, they're not afraid of failing. Everybody else, that's why not everybody is destined to be a founder, right? So believe in yourself, your idea, fail, stand up, go, fail, learn, make mistakes, and just believe in yourself. So good luck. I'm looking forward to your presentations tonight. Thank you.
We're going up, or do I get announced? Just go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Do you guys want to watch this video? Okay. Who here is a college sports fan? Raise your hand. Yay! Okay. There are 182 million others just like us, and we are the largest and the most affluent fan base in the country. And as us fans know, a big change has happened in college sports. Recent legislation now allows athletes to make money while playing sports in college. And since then, the disparity between the big donors and the boosters and the everyday fan has become even more apparent. And so, unless we're writing a 5, 6, 7-figure check to a university, we miss out on accessibility and control over where our dollar goes. I'm Tina Provost, former cheerleader from the Ohio State University, and now CEO of Five Star Fans. At Five Star Fans, we are democratizing fan support, enabling fans to have complete control over where our dollar goes. Athletes simply make plays and get paid in the most efficient platform in the market. Let's take a look at how it works. So us fans, the ones that raised our hands, we're watching the play-by-play of televised games live on the Five Star Fans app. Will Howard scores a touchdown because his offensive lineman makes this huge block. In that exciting moment, we all get to send support to Will Howard, the offensive lineman, the kicker, for making the extra point right then and there. And as we're participating in the app, we're also engaging with fellow fans, we're earning rewards, and we're building deeper connections with the athletes and the universities that we love. Fans to players, no middleman. Okay, why would anybody want to do something like this? Let's take a look at 3 vibrant companies where this behavior is already existing. Twitch, Patreon, and TikTok. They all brag on the value proposition that they provide live digital content and direct fan to creator support. Okay, well, now we have the opportunity to provide live digital content and direct fan to athlete support, no boosters required. We are on a mission to transform this market. We're already on pace to capture 5% of the Ohio State fan base. That 5% equals 600,000 fans and $24 million in support going to Buckeye athletes year over year. That is just Ohio State. We have fans activating across the country from all of the Power 4 conferences. 5% of the overall fan market in the United States is $500 million in support going directly to athletes every single year. We monetize that support via fan-based data analytics. Where's Will Edie? Fan-based, there's the data, ad and subscription models, and e-commerce opportunities. Since we've released this feature to the market just 12 weeks ago, we've had some pretty big wins. We got the compliance blessing from the Ohio State University. We have endorsements from Buckeye current and former football players, and the support from the best damn athletic director in the land, Mr. Ross Bjork. We've also enjoyed a 50% week-over-week new user growth. We have an average of 10 minutes per user spending on the site, and over 25,000 transactions have flowed through our platform. Here. And so take a guess, who is the very best at engaging fans? Cheerleaders and athletes. Our team is stacked with elite athletes. We have a combined experience of over 50 years in college sports and an undeniable technical foundation with our CTO coming from Netflix, and he's been building tech startups for the last 30 years. I'm gonna end it with this. In the last 5 years, $15 billion has been invested in the sports tech market, has been spent specifically on fan-focused solutions. So I would say that we're at the right place at the right time. OH.
Now introducing Anthony Schlegel.
however, monetizing it, we invested it, Ohio State University, so I'm proud of you guys. So that we have the support of our AV Ross, doing a fantastic job. What does that mean for the long-term vision?
Yeah, so with the support of Ross Bjork, we're building our platform to be the official fan engagement platform of Ohio State. And so what that means long-term for our vision is we get to execute a really strong B2B strategy across the rest of the Power Four over the next year in 2025.
So it's never been done before, right? College sports, big time man right there. The best. Talk about your company.
Hello? Good afternoon, everyone. So today, when you walk into a hospital, you still hear multiple sounds of phone calls and faxes. As a matter of fact, the United States healthcare industry is that one place where over 40% of its operations are still powered by these outdated technologies. Now, majority of these communications happen between the payers, the providers, and the patients. And a lot of those conversations are related to billing. And in a lot of cases, this is where the revenue cycle today begins. These mundane processes they lead to long delays that compromise a patient's healthcare. Also, healthcare providers experience a huge decline in their revenue as these manual, unstructured communications, they cause a lot of errors, and these errors lead to a high volume of claims denials. Today, providers still lose over $20 billion on an annual basis to denials from claims that result from these errors. My name is Dami. I'm the co-founder and CEO for Cuvris. We're an AI platform that automates revenue communications between providers and payers. My co-founder and I, Majid, we've worked together for over 5 years, and together we've spent over 25 years building healthcare solutions. And this is why we decided to tackle this problem. Cuvris automates all phone communications and reads all documents from faxes that come from payers to providers. Unlike generic incumbent solutions that are being used today, we tune large language models with a variety of healthcare operations and claims data. And this allows Cuvris AI to read all documents that come from faxes and also to complete all phone communications that currently happen between payers and providers at unmatchable accuracy. And not only that, we do this for providers at a huge fraction of the cost using a usage-based subscription model. Today, we've worked with our early customers to automate tens of thousands of phone calls and faxes. Our customers have seen over 15x return on their investment with using Cuvris. And they've seen on the average over $500,000 in revenue gains in just working with us for only a few months. In a recent case study with one of our existing customers, we took their claims denials from these communicative errors down to almost zero. What this means for them was this. Out of 500 claims that always led to denials in their entire processes, now they only saw 2 just using Cuvris. Also, this led to a massive increase in their capacity, and they were able to onboard more payers to work with. And this led to more than 15% increase in their patient throughput, which resulted in over $300,000 of additional revenue gains in only 3 months of working with Cuvris. We're currently partnering with local consultants, service providers, and local associations to work to scale Cuvris to medium-sized physician practices. Also, we've been talking with the Wexner Medical Center as part of the efforts to bring Cuvris to large healthcare systems. And we're just getting started. We're building a frictionless and efficient healthcare system. We see a system where patients will receive care with no delays, and providers will provide this care to patients with huge delight. If this excites you, come find me after this. Thank you.
Now introducing Siji Atakoja.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. You like to say?
Yes.
So I do have some questions for you, but before we get started, just by show of hands, how many of you think healthcare is ready for digitization? Thank you. Thank you. So here's my question for you. For someone who's been in the healthcare for quite some time now, I can certainly see why you're taking this approach, automating faxes, phone calls. But tell me what make you guys take this approach, and not just thinking about digitizing the claims process, but eliminating faxes and phone calls.
Yes, we actually get this a lot, right? So, and this is it, right? The healthcare system has been ripe for innovation for decades, right? And I mean, we all raised our hands that healthcare is ripe for digitization. But when you walk into a hospital system today, when you walk into 4 or 5, you see multiple systems being used. Now, for decades, there have been interoperability initiatives that have yielded only a fraction of the desired results. Now, if we talk about digitizing and taking away all the phone calls, all the faxes, what that means we start talking again is yet another system, yet another click. And we all know another click by a provider or a healthcare worker is what leads to burnout. So we started thinking, what if we leave the system the same way it is and not have them change anything? And this is what we've done, right? We've built a frictionless system with almost zero change management required, no need to change their system. And today, you plug in Cuvris into a healthcare system or a hospital, and our AI agents will be embedded into that workflow and automate all of these manual processes. Phones are still there, faxes are there, but they don't have to touch it anymore because we completely automate that, and they don't have to touch anything, no need to lift a finger. The system basically just works.
Thank you. I wanted to quickly share something real quick. Again, been in healthcare for quite some time as a CTO. One thing I'll say for sure is I don't want you to be surprised. When you're out there, there's still many healthcare organizations that are still moving papers around a lot. So this is a real problem or a challenge in the industry. So which brings me to my second question. So when it comes to rev cycle, there are other companies out there that are offering similar solution, but they've not been able to live to that promise. What are you doing differently?
Yes, and it is true. Like the healthcare industry is big. It's a huge problem. There's so many players in it. But one of the things that we've seen with existing solutions is two things. First of all, they try to solve everything, right? If you look at the revenue cycle management process, it's huge. And at the end of the day, we miss the root cause of a lot of these issues. And this is why we took the approach to look at root cause of some of these issues that lead to denials, which is a lot of errors. Errors are from manual communications that happen that lead to a whole bunch of papers, manual data entry. And we thought, okay, we will take this away. And this is one thing that is huge now is a lot of things related to robotic process automation. They tell you they would automate all of your entire process, but then the challenge is they are automating even the errors with this process, right? Rather, we've taken another approach to take away the root cause, which is the errors from these communications, automate those, and as a result, we actually do make a difference by using a preventive and a corrective approach. Now, with our system today, we would prevent majority of the errors that would occur and lead to those denials. And also, we know in the process that sometimes this denial might still happen, which is where the corrective approach comes in. With our AI agent, then, using denial intelligence and following up on those claims, taking away the manual work required to do the follow-up and following up to the point of collecting the revenue. So this ends up being a win-win situation for providers that are currently on our platform, meaning They prevent most of the errors. They automate all of the manual work in the process, but at the same time, they can also collect that revenue back if they had missed it from the prevention angle, which is a win-win for them.
Very good. So let's go make healthcare 2.0 happen. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
There we go. In 2021, the United States signed the bipartisan infrastructure law to help modernize our failing and dilapidated infrastructure, much of which was built in the 1960s. As a result, cities and states are spending more than they ever have before. This sounds great, right? We all want better roads, safer bridges, and new community buildings like fire stations and public libraries. The reality is, as we all know, is that these projects have a tendency to take longer and cost more than they should. And I know what, but it's actually much worse than you think. 84% of these projects reach some sort of critical failure during the project lifecycle, resulting in cost overruns and scheduling delays. And I know what everyone here is probably thinking. Lazy government workers are probably the reason behind that. But in actuality, it's quite the opposite. Cities are chronically overworked and understaffed, so as a result, they turn to consultants. And consultants do what consultants do. They apply a generic framework to a problem, provide you a report, and then they disappear. City managers are then left holding the bag to manage these projects without a data-driven solution. Hello, I'm Connor O'Brien. I'm the founder and CEO of DependBuild, and DependBuild is an AI-powered SaaS platform to help municipalities manage these critical infrastructure projects so they stay on time and on budget. DependBuild is like a consultant. However, we're tailored to a specific project, and we stay on as a co-pilot throughout the entire project lifecycle. Our platform uses existing data, and we leverage artificial intelligence to provide actionable insights on risks before they become major issues. With the efficiencies and insights that DependBuild provides, cities save significant time and money, meaning that your tax dollars go further than they ever have before. We've already partnered with cities like Myrtle Beach and Longmont in Colorado across the United States, who have already cited reduced delays and an increase in capacity as some of the early benefits for using our platform. And I'm thrilled to say that during our time here at Techstars, we've had multiple conversations from city to state level employees across Ohio, and we've even partnered with the city of Hilliard, which is a top 7 most forward-thinking municipality on the planet. Dwayne, good to see you. We will continue to grow through founder-led sales and by forming strategic partnerships like the one that we made with the Ohio-based asset management company, FMX, to provide a wider adoption. I'm a multiple-time founder with a successful exit under my belt, and I am joined on this mission with a team of deep experience in project management, risk consulting, and advanced degree holders in artificial intelligence. Now buckle up, because we need to spend $100 trillion on infrastructure just to get it up to a livable standard. That is a mind-boggling number, but it doesn't need to cost that much with the use of DependBuild. If you believe like we do that these projects can be better managed through AI, please come find me later. I'm in the blue vest, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage, Ratmir Timashev.
Before I go into questions,
yeah.
Do you know the worst airport in the country?
I don't.
It's called JFK.
Okay.
It's the worst. Like from 80s, 70s, like, and it's the kind of the window to the world, right? So all the foreigners come and they like talk. Like, is this a civilized country or what? Third World War country? I think they spent already billions of dollars on that project, right? The state of New York, I don't know, it's probably, airports are federally controlled, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have a couple of questions, like, and I remember when you were telling me about this idea, I said, like, how did you come up with this brilliant idea?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know or probably couldn't tell with my apparent accent, I'm actually Canadian. So I had another company that I was running in Atlantic Canada in Newfoundland, and there was a project there. It was a hydroelectric dam project called Muskrat Falls. It went 7 years late and $6 billion over budget. The press refer to it as a boondoggle still to this day. And their idea to recoup that cost for their mismanagement was to charge the residents of that province over 3 times what they were being billed for energy. So that would have bankrupted the entire province, everyone in it, and then had effects to the rest of the Maritimes. So that was kind of the eye-opener to make sure that these projects can be better managed. Use depend build. So we would manage it from conception to planning to construction and then the handoff as well. So that kind of ties in with all of it versus the one-time report that you get from the consultant that then they disappear. We stay with you throughout, providing risks and actionable insights on how to mitigate them throughout, so you can start planning on a computer versus actually waiting for the job site to run into a cost overrun.
Yeah, I understand your sales pitch, but still, I know that selling to the government, even municipal government, is a long sales process.
Yeah.
So
it is long. It takes, on average, 13 touch points before anyone will make a deal. So we have 2 ideas in place. The first one is we're charging under discretionary spending limit. So that way we avoid the RFP process and that bureaucratic hurdle to go out for the 3 quotes to then be selected. The other one is by forming the strategic partnerships where, like the one with FMX, it is an asset management company. So once the physical asset is built, then they take over to make sure that is well managed. Where we come in is the conception, planning, and construction. So that way that $13 million fire station that you just built, they have a maintenance schedule and they can maintain that asset once it is done.
that's awesome. Finally, I realized how this thing works.
You have to turn it on.
So, last question. Do you use AI?
We do. Yeah, so we have an internal large language model. So our CTO, he's currently the head of AI security for the London Stock Exchange. It's all been done in-house. The way that we figured it out, where we were going to go with the OpenAI ChatGPT, but we didn't want to have any hallucinations with it. So we decided to scrap it and build it all ourselves to make sure that everything is referenced in the chat log. So every municipal data from city to state level municipal data, township level, county, is all in there. And we even give you the references so you can then double check to make sure that everything is accurate. And all.
I'm so glad to see this, our startups, including Dependable, using AI, because I think AI is a perfect tool to automate anything that has to do with paperwork and lots of manual work. Because paper or any information in a digital format in what we call unstructured data, phone calls or faxes or documents or paper, and then that involves a lot of manual work and checking and double checking. If you see any of this process, that's where any idea for a startup should come. So it's automating any unstructured data that involves lots of manual work. And I think your project is exactly about that.
So if you're a project manager, you would have anywhere from 10 to 20 documents per project, and you're managing roughly 20 projects per year. In order to go through each one of those 20 PDFs or 2 monitors or printout binders, that can be very time consuming. So we're also an efficiency building and capacity building tool for those municipal staff.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, here we go. The old way of doing sales and marketing is dead. Paid ads are getting expensive, cold emails are landing in spam, and now SEO is not working. That's why your sales are down. Now, sir, don't be afraid. Let me tell you a little secret that marketers like me won't tell you. There is still something that buyers trust. Insights from peers. For B2B, these insights live on LinkedIn. That's where everybody posts, discusses, and shares all of the new strategies that are working for them. Now, what if your team could be those experts? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the future of software sales and marketing. Hi, my name is Suk, a former IBM and Apple engineer turned marketer, and I'm building Engyne. Engyne is a software platform that helps your teams sell more by turning them into thought leaders on LinkedIn. Here's how this works. First, Engyne scrapes the web to grab any content piece you've created in the past, blog posts, tweets, podcasts, and more. We feed this into our custom AI pipelines that are trained on viral content from some of the top LinkedIn influencers you probably already know. And what comes out from the other side is a collection of engaging text and video posts that you can publish to your account straight away. Meet Rick. He is the CEO of an AI company and an early customer of Engyne. And within 2 weeks of using our platform, one of the posts that Engyne created for Rick went viral. In fact, it drove 300 new leads for his business. That's right, 300 from a single post. And by the way, that was 10 times more than his cold email campaign in the same time frame. Now, traditionally, Rick would have had to hire a junior marketer for $5,000 a month to do this kind of work. But Engyne does this better, faster, and for a fraction of the cost. We also plan to offer per-seat pricing for organizations like yours that want to create an army of thought leaders. And we launched just last month. We already have leaders like Rick, Anil, and Dan Manges, co-founder of Root Insurance, as our customers. And with the deals we have in our warm pipeline, we are on track to hit 10K in monthly revenue by the end of this month. Now, this is something I'm very excited about. Through Techstars, we've been able to land a distribution partnership with Canva. This will bring Engyne to their 500 million users, giving a significant scale and a rock-solid go-to-market strategy. We're starting with LinkedIn today because that's the primary place where professionals learn from each other. But we plan to take over the $600 billion content marketing industry. Our mission at Engyne is to help you automate and repurpose content for all your marketing channels so that your expertise reaches your customers wherever they are. And with that, I'm excited to announce that we're opening up the beta waitlist for Engyne today. So if you're sick of sending out cold emails that don't convert, and I see a few of you nodding right there, come see me at the bar after.
Now introducing Drishay Menon.
Every time.
Yeah.
I'm a founder, CEO, have definitely struggled myself, not only establishing myself as kind of a thought leader, but just developing different types of go-to-market strategies and just how to thoughtfully build content and get it out to people that I want to see that content. Over the years, I've also done multiple businesses, kind of worked in different industries. I think one of the concerns that I typically have about AI just kind of pulling and ingesting information is that it might post something that's not necessarily maybe relevant to my current business. How do you tackle that? Is that an issue with Engyne?
Yeah, so that's totally okay. By the way, Engyne gives you full access and full control over what data gets ingested and what data gets outputted as well. So as a user, if there's something that's not relevant, you can always go in, remove those items, and that'll retrain the AI. And on the output side, we do give you a library of text and video posts that you can always go in and accept or reject based on the ones that you like. And that way, the AI will learn over time of what you think is good, and it'll generate more of that.
Gotcha. Okay. So it sounds like a very user-friendly, kind of easy to access, easy to kind of manage the content as necessary. That's awesome. I am also particularly excited about this Canva partnership and this Canva distribution channel. Could you kind of explain that go-to-market? How does that work? What are you kind of looking at with that?
Yeah, so in the past few years, Canva has become the #1 platform where professionals design their graphics. I mean, there's nothing to install, it's free, and it looks fantastic. In fact, some of the slides you're gonna see today have been made in Canva.
Definitely.
Yeah. The great thing though is Canva has a fantastic app marketplace that's been growing year over year. So our plan is to create a smaller version of our app that lives inside Canva, and those users will be monetized in our full app. This will essentially give us a go-to-market strategy where we get new customers for $0 acquisition cost.
Wow, that feels like an unfair advantage. That's really exciting. Congratulations. It's been exciting to see the growth. Here's the engine.
Definitely.
Hello? Alrighty. Imagine taking a medication that wasn't properly tested on people like you. If you're from an underrepresented group in the US, there's a high chance that's your reality. 1/3 of clinical trials don't include enough Black, Hispanic, Asian, or other ethnic populations. This leads to assumptions that treatments work the same for everyone, causing unexpected side effects or even death. But clinical trials cost billions of dollars, and hospitals across the country earned billions by participating in them. Even with all of this money spent on clinical trials, still over $15 billion is lost due to patient recruitment and diversity issues. Recognizing the significance of this disparity, the FDA is now requiring increased diversity in every clinical trial. The problem is that many clinical trial sites are in hospitals that don't serve diverse communities. This makes it difficult for hospitals to recruit patients and pharmaceutical companies to recruit patients that represent the broader population. Each day a trial is delayed can cost a pharmaceutical company $500,000 in lost sales and $40,000 in direct costs. Hello, my name is Kelvin Brown. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Carneum. I bring over 12 years of experience from the pharmaceutical industry, having contributed to the development of numerous therapeutics, while my team has deep expertise in AI and data science, powering the innovation behind our platform. Our AI platform combines real-world and geographic data with large language models to help pharmaceutical companies find the best hospitals in diverse communities. We also use this geographic data to identify and break down barriers to participation, speeding up patient recruitment, and increasing diversity in every clinical trial. This means more revenue, lower cost, increased diversity, and ultimately, better drugs. For example, a large pharmaceutical company used our platform to identify the best suited hospitals for a clinical trial targeting underserved patients with obesity. What generally took them 12 months was completed in just 5 weeks with our platform. That's 10 times faster than traditional processes and saved the company $12 million in operational cost. Now, this is where things get exciting. In the last 4 months, we've secured 5 pilots with major pharmaceutical companies, 1 pilot with The Ohio State University, and onboarded over 230 clinics to our platform. Now, our business model is built on annual subscriptions where pharmaceutical companies pay for access to our platform on a per therapeutic area basis. So Carneum is delivering faster, more effective, and more diverse clinical trials. And we're already making a difference in how clinical trials work today. So together, we can drive meaningful change for pharmaceutical companies and patients alike. Thank you.
Now introducing Nick Hoffmeister.
Do we have a working mic? We do. First, I wanted to start by complimenting Calvin. I've raised 320 something million into mostly biotech, and I've been a mentor for 8 years. Calvin has been the most focused person in any Techstars class I've ever worked with. He knew who his audience was, he knew what they cared about, he knew what their pain points were, and he went straight for it. So I just wanted to give him a compliment on that front.
Thank you. Thank you.
So first question for you. The recruitment of patients, how do you ensure that the diversity is there, and particularly across different therapeutic areas where some may see better representation or worse?
So we use a multimodal data approach where first we identify the target patient population, which includes using de-identified claims and EHR data. We then triangulate that data with other racial or demographic data sets to make sure that we have the target population of interest, including variables such as race, ethnicity, all of those other factors. The next stage is then incorporating social determinant of health data, such as poverty, working multiple jobs, vehicle availability. Analyzing all of that data comprehensively, we're able to then create hyperlocalized targeted patient recruitment strategies to drive engagement where pharmaceutical companies want to end up recruiting patients.
And now where they have to recruit patients because of the FDA.
Precisely.
Yep. Okay. And then talk to me about scale. So 5 pharma companies already signed up. What does this look like to scale within the US, to scale globally? What is it going to take?
So most of our data sets already do cover most of the US, and this is a fully software platform. In terms of scale, what we're looking for next is including data outside of the US so that we can offer global solutions for pharma companies because their research goes beyond just the US, but they're in Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia. So next is getting information from first health related, but then also hospital and site related into the platform so they can plan their larger phase 3 trials around the globe.
Great. Last question. Pharma companies are notoriously sometimes slow, yet in a very short period of time, you've gotten 5 of them signed up. Why are they so interested? Why are they pulling so strongly?
Well, typically the drug development process takes 10 years and it costs on average about $2 billion. Of that 10 years of drug development, patient recruitment takes about 4 to 6 years. So with our hyper-localized strategies and finding the best sites, we can reduce that patient recruitment by 1 year. That 1 year saves them $100 million in operational cost, but think about the drugs that make it to market. You get an extra year to make money off of that drug before patent exclusivity hits. So that's one reason. The second reason is that there are regulatory pressures that the FDA is putting on pharmaceutical companies to increase diversity. If they don't follow these regulations and guidances, I mean, you have the consequence of the FDA saying you need to do additional studies, you need to go back and do post-marketing studies, and all of that adds to the operational cost of that drug and for that company. And those are 2 big pressures that pharma wants to get rid of.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, time to talk about everybody's favorite topic, tax forms. Why are you wooing? You're supposed to boo. All right. Since the early 2000s, the IRS has mandated that every single company that gives their employees equity needs to submit something called a 409A valuation. Imagine being a founder. Your life is already pretty hard. And quite honestly, you've probably never even heard of a 409A before. But now, you need to worry about submitting a proper 409A every single year or risk having major tax penalties to yourself and your employees. But don't worry, you have options. You can work with an overpriced valuation firm, which will get you a report in a month, or use a generic software, which will get you a cookie cutter report that isn't IRS defensible. That's where 409 AI comes into play. We take your company's quantitative data and qualitative information and get you a market-leading report in 1/10 the time and half the cost. We operate in 3 simple steps. First, connect your QuickBooks and financials. From there, our AI will make a first draft in a matter of minutes, not weeks. After that, you'll work with our CFA team to get you a peer-reviewed valuation in as little as 3 days that will actually live up to an IRS audit. New startups are joining the market every single day. And the valuation space, and VCs, the venture capital world is making a rebound. So the valuation space is growing at 12% year over year and is anticipated to hit 40 billion by 2031. To capitalize on this growth, we have 2 main strategies that we're going after. First, we go direct to founders. This is where we get referrals from fractional CFOs and VC partners who give us deals directly. Since joining Techstars, we have officially become a Techstars global perk. So literally every startup here has no excuse not to use 409 AI. Our second strategy is focused on partnerships, where we enable fintech companies to deploy 409 AIs into their current existing customers and sell it to them through our API. Some of your portfolio companies may already be using 409 AI without even knowing it. In fact, if they're using any of these cap table providers, they will be getting a 409 done by us within the next year. Now, everybody, I have some really exciting news. Since joining Techstars, we have become the official global partner of 409As for one of the world's largest financial institutions. Our strategies are working. Once we entered Techstars, we were doing about $15K per month in revenue, and we've since doubled that this past November to $30,000. Now, okay, thank you. With our global partner as well, this gives us a legitimate straight line to doing 100K within the next 6 months. Our partners are already asking us to deploy new valuation technologies. That means valuations for VCs, private equity, due diligence technology, and even cryptocurrency valuations. We have a team of 4 with 5 exits under our belt, as well as an IPO. We've worked at some of the world's largest institutions like EY and Deloitte, and we've actually worked together before building algorithms for venture debt companies, which is where our idea was born. AI is going to change how business valuations are done. And if you're excited like this guy is, I'd love to talk to you about it after. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage, Tim Grace.
I'm gonna put this back. And I'm gonna turn this mic on. Look how we did that. So seamless.
Can you teach us?
Adam, great job. Thank you for saving all of us from the IRS boogeyman. We appreciate it. One of the things that first excited me when we first met, talked about 409.ai, is the actual AI and how you're deploying it inside of your solution. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So financial data can be really messy. So the first way that we actually use AI is in a machine learning system that basically takes all that information and normalizes all that data so that our AI can actually make a first draft and actually make calculations using all the different formats that companies typically use. The second part is actually with getting public comparables. So basically, there's a lot of different valuation methodologies out there, and one is looking at what the industry is valuing companies at, and that's pretty much what our AI does, is take that quantitative info of what your industry is valued at, and then extrapolate that valuation for your company as a private entity.
Awesome. A true human in the loop solution. So the other thing that I get asked all the time about your business is, how do you guys compare to Carta? Or do you compete with Carta? How do you think about Carta's valuation product? So why don't you talk a little bit about how you're going to eat Carta's lunch?
Yeah, so Carta at its core is an evaluation company. They're an equity management platform. So they're not really focused on selling and improving their valuation tech. So with that being said, they're actually really limited. Some of our customers actually use Carta, but they stick to Carta's free plan and then get their valuation done by us because it's a lot more robust. So with Carta, they only have 2 valuation methodologies they're deploying. They don't even do like a discounted cash flow. So that's like one of the most basic, valuations you could pretty much have in there. And we use 5 different valuation methodologies in there, a sensitivity analysis, and really just beef things up so that you could actually, in case you get audited, you actually have all the documents necessary to defend yourself. On the customer service side, we also have something that's a little bit more personal as well too, like you kind of alluded to. You're not just gonna get like chat bot responses if you are getting in an audit and needing to like submit a ticket. We actually have a CFA that you work with throughout the entire process who's basically account manager for you. So you basically have a professional at your hand or by your side, holding your hand throughout the entire process.
Awesome. I think you probably just converted some Carta customers to 409 AI just now. Great job. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Check.
Hi, everybody. We have a break right now, so we're going to do a couple fun things. Anthony's very good at this. First, we're going to have everybody stand up. We'll take it easy on you first, and then it's going to get rowdy. We all know how to spell the state that we're in, I think. And who knows the OHIO around the stadium? Oh, really? Nobody? 2 people? Come on. Well, fine. Let me teach you. We spell OHIO. Everybody has a role. So this corner of the room, you guys are the O. This half of the middle, you guys are the H. Guess what you are? Good job, Kenny. Yep. And then over here, what are you guys? Thank you. Thank you. Goodness. Okay. We're on the count of 3. We're going to do OHIO around 3 times. And then you're going to hear from the master of quick cows. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Louder. 1 more. Okay, that was warm up.
All right, this lovely lady was like, hey, you got to do quick cows, and she brought a whistle. You guys know what quick cows are, like they do before the game, right, where they're like clapping it up a little bit? Why do they do that? It's kind of militaristic, like get locked in, right? Like, first off, who watched that game last week, right? I'm a Buckeye, I trained them, like, I got you, right? It's hard shit, right? Hard pill to swallow. No, but here's the deal, though, right? Like, I got 2 startups that I've done, but like, we fail, right? We lose games. Right? We lose sometimes the game of your business, but what do? You bury that shit, you put a big chip on your shoulder, and you go make a sale. This one, let's go beat Tennessee's ass. Anyways, here's what we're going to do. All right, so quick cows, you clap it up, right? We'll clap it up, right? Like, I love the rhythm. I love your rhythm, okay? Then I'll go, ah. You go like, ah. You got to do that. You got to go, ah. And I'll snap you down. No, you got to snap down, though. You got to have a reverse arc, okay? All right, reverse arc. All right, now say ready, ready. I'll say ready, ready. And you're going to clap 3 times when I say ready, ready. That's ready, ready. Good, I like it. Okay, then you're going to do like hand stuff. Okay, so I'll blow this out. That's too loud. I'll do it. I'm just going to, okay, bump. All right. So blow the whistle, and this is what you do. The first one, that's how you do it. Then you say ready, ready, and you clap what? 3 times. Okay, then I'm going to go. There we go. Ready, ready, boom, boom, boom. Okay, good. I like that. Ready, ready, boom, boom, boom. And then you go. Okay, that's what it is. All right, just waking it up. All right, here you go. Ready? We're clapping. Oh, I like it. Oh, man, some of you guys' report card is terrible. All right, here. Ready, ready. All right. Ready, ready. Ready, ready. Ready, ready. There you go. Go, Bucks. That's what you do. All right, go break. Let's go. Break. Go to the bathroom. Is that what we're doing? We break and go to the toilet? All right. Are we doing? You're going?
I'm going.
Pack it dominant, man.
All right.
And I get to follow that. Whoop, whoop. All right. There we go. That was the break. All right. Let's break it down a notch. All right. All right. You know that feeling when you lose your phone? Yeah, it's bad. You go into a panic trying to find it because you use it for everything. It's required to function. Now imagine you lost your phone every day. It'd suck. Well, that's what happens in the orthopedic device industry, like the equipment used for knee and hip replacements. Distributors lose and misplace expensive surgical equipment called trays every day that cost tens of thousands of dollars. This is such a problem that sales reps of the distributors spend 25% of their time just searching for trays. A single distributor loses hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory each year simply because things go missing. This is a $30 billion industry operating in the past. Things should be easier. Technology should help. That's where Hansel comes in. I'm Greg Prosser, founder and CEO of Hansel Medical. My co-founder Jason and I have over 30 years experience in early stage startups, healthcare software, and medical sales. I've been a medical device rep and a product lead building asset tracking solutions in healthcare. And Jason has built scalable healthcare software from the ground up while leading product and development teams. Hansel is a platform that makes tracking and managing expensive surgical equipment simple and automatic. We tag customers' inventory with our custom beacon, then track it effortlessly through our mobile app. We can track thousands of trays from surgery to storage with our proprietary beacon that's built to withstand the 270-degree steam sterilization process that these trays undergo. And that's not something your AirTag can do. With real-time location updates, Hansel helps distributors prevent inventory loss, eliminate search times, and improve the overall asset management in this demanding surgical environment. Since starting Techstars, we've gone from hand-assembled prototypes to having professionally manufactured beacons ready for commercial use with our first 1,000 currently in production. Thank you. I built them myself. Everybody said they looked like macaroons. Our mobile app, anyway, I'll say it later. Our mobile app tracks equipment in the background automatically and is now live in the Apple App Store. We have a very focused go-to-market strategy. We've partnered with 6 orthopedic distributors with plans to run implementations in Q1 2025. We're going to leverage these partnerships with distributors to sell to the hundreds of other distributors inside their networks. And our success with these distributor customers will lead to enterprise sales of the manufacturers of the products that they represent, leading to ultimate adoption of Hansel across every market in the United States. Our business model is simple. We execute annual contracts based on the number of users at $150 per month for the number of employees a customer has. With this, in just our first 50 customers, we can reach $1.4 million in annual recurring revenue. Thank you. Hansel is poised to be the tracking solution for this industry. Our mission is to ensure that no surgical tray, instrument, or valuable time is ever lost again. This industry desperately needs our help. They need Hansel. If you're interested in learning more about what we're building to make healthcare more efficient, come say hi after. Thank you.
Now introducing Brandon Pickworth.
I think it's on.
Mic check.
Check. There we go. Got it.
Excellent job. Incredible value. I saw the business problem early when we first met at the mixer at the beginning of the program. I was a medical device rep for several years, so I saw the problem firsthand. A lot of these instruments are, multiple instruments. They could get strewn anywhere. So I can appreciate the problem that you're trying to solve. So when we met, it reminded me of when I was a device rep. I thought about building something like this myself, so I applaud you for doing that. Why don't you tell the audience why these big manufacturers like Zimmer, Biomet, Stryker, why don't they want these tools to be lost so they could sell more?
Yeah. First off, it's always nice to talk to people that have been in the industry because most people don't even know how this industry operates. So it's always refreshing to talk to somebody that has the experience because it just reassures that what we're building is actually needed by our customers, which is why we forged forward to try and bring it to market for them. But the manufacturers, so a lot of people ask like, yeah, why don't they want them to just get lost and they'll sell more? But it's not a typical distribution model. The manufacturers actually own the equipment that they own the trays. So it's not like the manufacturer makes the equipment, sells it to the distributor, then sells it to the end user. The manufacturer owns the inventory, and distributors have to manage that inventory within their territory. So if trays are lost, it's capital lost by the manufacturer, and then they don't have that asset to perform more surgeries. So we're trying to drive the efficiency of knowing where these assets are so they can support more surgeries over time on less capital because, if you have 100,000 trays that cost $30,000, it's a lot of money. So
it's a lot of reps too across the
Yes.
country carrying those trays. So I know that you kind of mentioned this in your pitch, but why not just use an AirTag to track these things?
Yeah, AirTags don't survive that sterilization process I was talking about. So the trays before and after surgery have to go through what's called an autoclave process. It's a 270-degree Fahrenheit process. So we've built a custom beacon that'll tag to the trays that can withstand that process. Furthermore, AirTag's not gonna, Find My and AirTag doesn't accommodate like hundreds of thousands of trays on a platform. This is a commercially built platform just specific for this industry. So when you think about distributors, just a distributor could represent 5 different manufacturers' products. So they're tracking inventory for 5 different manufacturers in their given territory. So that distributor needs access on the platform to track all of that inventory and know where that inventory is across 5 manufacturers. Meanwhile, the manufacturers only want visibility into their product lines in that territory. So we're network affecting all the reps in each market to track the inventory so everybody knows where it's at.
It's amazing. Going back to the beginning. So what's the origin story of Hansel Medical? Tell me about how you came across this problem that you're trying to solve now.
Yeah. I was a medical device rep. I did post-op medical device sales in the spine space for 2 years. And then after that, I was an investor and a product lead at an early stage startup that was building an asset tracking solution in healthcare. I was our product lead that actually worked with distributors and manufacturers. Now that company didn't survive COVID. I invested in that company, but I'm kind of standing on the shoulders of what we learned there. And that's what really forged the vision of what I'm building now. So I'm very grateful to have Jason, my co-founder, with me. He is unbelievably talented in software. I couldn't be here without him. And yeah, I know when talking to you and our customers and our partners that we're going to implement in the first quarter next year, that this is definitely something that's worth pursuing and worth bringing to the marketplace. So
nice job. Congratulations on everything. Let's go.
Thank you.
Was off. Healthcare is broken. I hear this all the time. And the conversations, they usually go around things like access to care, rising costs, and provider burnout. And these are massive issues, ones that a lot of brilliant people, including some of the founders here today, are trying to solve. But there's a deep issue slowing them down. Healthcare data is chaotic. There's no universal standard for how it is shared or saved in the healthcare ecosystem. And that's more than just an inconvenience. It's a $500 billion annual problem. Now, some of that comes from the millions of wasted engineering hours and the tedious process of manual data entry. But it goes beyond just inefficiencies. It comes from medical errors and poor patient outcomes. So take, for example, Dr. Lortz at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. She set up a collective of 68 different centers dedicated to improving cardiac care. But each one of those centers, they store their data differently, and Dr. Lortz and her team, they just didn't have the resources to make it all usable. So insights that could potentially save lives were locked away. And that's the problem that we set out to solve. I'm Zach Gravales, co-founder and CEO of Arzol. And my co-founder, Sean Vox, and I have spent a combined 25 years tackling this issue. And now we've built something that I think will truly change how people interact with healthcare data. Arzol lets you take messy and fragmented data and make it usable with just a few lines of code. Our API gives our customers access to an AI system that completely automates the mapping and cleaning and normalization of any healthcare data, and it can be dropped easily into any existing workflow. Now, this lets our customers take efforts that would take weeks or months and cost tens of thousands of dollars and reduce them to just minutes and for a fraction of the cost. And we operate a pay-for-value model, so our customers are their expenses are only going up directly with the value that we're providing them. Now, since starting Techstars, we've gotten our first 4 customers, including Crowd Health, Medi Analytics, Valence Health, and Cincinnati Children's Hospital. There, we're working with Dr. Lortz to take that fragmented data from 68 centers and turn it into life-saving insights. And Dr. Lortz doesn't just see the value of our product. She's so convinced of our potential impact that she's joined us as an advisor. Now, we're not stopping at just mapping and cleaning data. We're going after the entire healthcare data lifecycle. A process like data acquisition, which in healthcare can take up to a year, we're going to reduce that to days. And we're going to help those health systems take fragmented data and turn it into a revenue-generating asset for them, and all the while ensuring that our customers always have data in the exact format that they need it. By reimagining how healthcare data is managed, we're going to enable innovation, reduce inefficiency, and improve care. So yes, healthcare is broken. But at Arzol, we're building something that's going to help remove some of those barriers for those brilliant people that are going to solve it. So if you've felt this problem, let's connect. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage, Tim Grace.
Last time you'll hear from me, I promise. Zach, great job. Thank you for all that you and Sean are doing to fix our broken healthcare system.
We're just helping other people.
Right. No, it's you guys, I think, doing everything. So one of the things that you mentioned in the pitch that stood out to me, and I think would probably stand out to a lot of people here, is the $500 billion nature of this sort of chaotic healthcare data problem. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've actually seen numbers, estimates as high as like $1 trillion. And it seems huge, but when you start to actually look at the flow, the downstream effects of bad healthcare data, it makes sense. So I have a friend who was recently diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and he saw an oncologist, and they made a treatment plan that involved multiple rounds of intense chemo and a bone marrow transplant. The last minute, he decided to get a second opinion, and he went to a different oncologist and a different health system, and that health system happened to have historical health data. They could get all of it. It was communicating with wherever it came from. So because of that, they were able to see that a marker they were using to measure progression actually existed before the cancer, and he was not at all, like he wasn't as far along as they had expected or as they had originally thought. So he was able to avoid chemo and a transplant, and that would have cost the system and him upwards of $1 million. And not to mention the impact it would have had on his family, his wife and his 2 kids, and his job. So you look at that one case, you get in the millions, and it's pretty easy to see how that 500 billion number comes about.
Such a scary story.
Yeah.
Definitely underscores the problem. So the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, you put some pretty nice traction numbers up there. Like the number of, momentum that you've built with customers has been awesome. And I'm curious, like, what are some of your learnings, from some of those early customer relationships, and where do you see this all going?
Yeah, we came into Techstars, we didn't have any customers, we were pretty early. And our goal was just to validate our product. We wanted to see if people actually did feel this problem and they would pay for a product like ours. And so we went out to a lot of different areas of healthcare and to sell, and turns out people everywhere are feeling it. So we got different customers in different areas of healthcare. We're going to be working with them over the next few months. And so in the next 3 months, we really want to focus on where we can have the most impact and where our networks are the strongest. And we want to just double down on the spaces. And after that, we want to focus on our growth.
I'm super pumped for your future and your growth. Great job. Thank you.
All right. Every morning, you wake up anticipating the day ahead. You get up, you push forward, but over time, it can just feel like you're checking boxes instead of truly living. You want to feel energized and motivated, but instead, you have a lingering fatigue. If you just had the mental clarity and the energy that you needed, you'd be able to make the most out of every single day. But what if this future isn't as far away as you think? Perhaps it's just a few targeted supplements and vitamins in the right timing, the right amounts, and the right ingredients that you need. But brands, vitamin and supplement brands, can't match you to these products that will actually help you because they don't actually know very much about your health. They just know very basic information about you. So oftentimes, people end up purchasing at least 3 products before they find a product that works. And oftentimes, people don't find products that work at all. Imagine a world where, instead of guesswork, you could get clear, personalized guidance, allowing you to step into each day with confidence, allowing you to go beyond survival into truly living life at its fullest. And what if, instead of merely existing, you could thrive? My name's Emma Tolsdorf. I'm the co-founder and CEO at AIMD. AIMD is a turnkey hyper-personalization solution for wellness brands. We enable wellness brands to recommend the proper supplements to their users based on over 2,000 objective biomarkers of disease that can help them to feel better throughout their day. It's as simple as going to the product quiz on the wellness website's page. They take the bio quiz, and they scan their face for 30 seconds to collect objective biomarkers of vital statistics, as well as things like cortisol, HbA1c, and blood glucose. We can also scan their skin for looking at conditions such as dermatological conditions, and analyze their coughs, as well as speech for looking at respiratory conditions and mental health conditions. And then the user gets their results, and they're able to be matched to products that will improve their low scores. And then they can track their progress right inside the AIMD app. And then, once they see that products are working, they can repurchase the products that work. Our customers are consumer wellness brands. Wellness brands love to work with us because we help them double the conversions on their site. Essentially, when a person experiences this "it's for me" moment on the website and they can see, hey, this is actually going to do something for me and this is actually going to move the needle for my health, they want to purchase that product today, right now. And ultimately, for these brands, we're turning their one-time buyers into loyal subscribers. We take a 15% commission on the purchase of the product on the wellness brand's website. And in a $6.3 trillion market size, this represents not only a massive financial opportunity, but an opportunity to really help millions of people. And in our 4-week average sales cycle, All we need is 940 customers to get to our first $100 million in revenue milestone. And throughout Techstars, we've been able to secure our first 4 major global clients across 3 continents, and we're well on our way to establishing this ambitious goal. Don't clap yet, I haven't gotten to the good part. And this week, we actually onboarded 2 more clients, and now we have access to over 3 million users. I am joined here today with my amazing co-founder, Radha. She's an extremely talented and award-winning computer scientist and just a beautiful person. And I also have Ashley, who's our COO. She not only has 3 decades in retail technology, but she just has a feeling for people and a feeling for brands and a feeling for our message that just really resonates with people. And finally, I would love to have our team connect with you if this vision resonates with you. We are helping brands on the frontier, and we're helping people that want to feel better. Because when we have health awareness and visibility, we have the power to thrive.
Now introducing John Queen.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'll tell a quick story. I met Emma really passingly, walking into a Techstars event to drop someone off, and I talked to her for 2 seconds, and she was like, "I'm building this AI health scan technology," and I just left and didn't think much of it. But then I thought about that night, and I like downloaded it or pulled up the app and scanned myself, and I'm like, "Wow, I have some health problems." And it was like 30 seconds, right? I know like a ton about me, so I completely went on a health journey after that. I joined the Armory. I started sleeping more. I got an Oura ring and stopped drinking as much. I mean, it was game changing just to know that quickly, and that access to being able to take the first step for your health is really interesting and really game changing. So I'm really excited that you built that for my health, at least.
It's amazing news, John.
So let's get to the questions. So you're saying you can build, you can scan the body and recommend products. How does that work?
Good question. So 3 primary ways. So that face scan that you saw, that actually uses a technology called remote photoplasmography. And so with remote photoplasmography, essentially we're taking a 30-second scan of your face, looking at about 70 different points, and we're able to measure heart rate variability. And since heart rate variability has mathematical relationships with things like blood pressure, blood glucose, HbA1c, and a variety of others, we're able to actually identify the relationships between these things and predict it with high accuracy. That's number 1. Number 2 is through computer vision and taking photos of conditions on the skin of the surface of the body. So essentially, we're using computer vision techniques in order to understand what's going on with a particular condition that way. And then the third is signal processing. So we use signal processing to analyze cough sounds as well as speech for detecting respiratory conditions and mental health conditions. And largely, our algorithm, many of these solutions exist out in the world, but they are pointed and they're limited in their ability to serve certain demographics as well as device types. And so what we do at AIMD is we combine all of these models and we ensure that the right person gets the right AI based not only on their disease, but their demographic, their device type, and the information about them that we gather to give them the most hyper-optimized result.
That's really interesting. So as a brand marketer that spends $1 billion a year in advertising, the first thing I did after my experience was introduce you to all my friends in the health and wellness space. And the first question they asked was, does the brand have access to the biomarker information, and how is the information protected?
Yeah, so no, brands do not have access to the buyer information directly. Of course, AIMD is needed because we have to be that layer between the brand and humans, because we have to look after the humans on one side, but then the brands, they want to know how to shape their messaging to their users, and they want to know how they can better serve their customers, right? And so essentially, what AIMD does is, since we're the secure layer, we help people to understand their health on their side, right? And many of the scans are actually done right on the user's device, and none of it ever travels up to the cloud, because that's the point of vulnerability. And on the brand side, they get to have some insights about groups of users and how to target those users that they could actually apply their products to better, so that they can market to people who will actually see an impact from their product.
Very interesting. So just a side question is, how could this be used in healthcare?
Yes, absolutely. So what we wanted to do first was essentially, through the wellness landscape, we can actually not have to worry as much about the FDA and regulatory process. If we're just being used for wellness purposes, even if they're medical, in medical grade technologies, we can actually utilize them in the wellness space, build up a massive user base, and completely wipe out all the medical technologies who are currently spending their time arguing with the FDA. So essentially, what we're doing is onboarding at least 50 million users, which we're well on our way to. And then we will be utilizing that data to create a strong case with the FDA as a telehealth and medical application for their triage process.
Well, sign me up. It's going to the doctor is probably my least favorite thing, to try to figure out the base level what's wrong with me. So
yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. Well, thank you so much, and I'm very excited to see what you do next.
Thank you so much, John.
Ciao.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anish. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gentle. I wanted to start today off with a personal story. 2 years ago, I lost my ex-girlfriend to suicide. I was sad, I was angry. I had watched her try countless different medications and numerous different antidepressants and therapies, but nothing provided the relief that she needed for her depression or bipolar. She's not alone. In fact, 1 in 8 Americans experience a depressive episode annually. That's over 280 million people globally who struggle with this. I wanted to know why people like her struggle to find lasting relief. And so I looked. And what I found is that treatment today is stuck in the past. And this manifests itself in 2 main ways. The first, today's at-home treatments are antidepressant medication, and they work primarily by targeting serotonin. While they're effective for some, they're far from ideal. Patients have low efficacy rates. They come with a myriad of side effects. They're addictive, and withdrawal can be a big problem when getting off of them. Magnetic stimulation is the most effective treatment we have today, and it works by increasing brain activity. However, it's costly, it's exhaustive. Patients have to sit under this loud magnetic coil for hours a day for weeks on end to get help. And this disruption of their lives can cost up to $40,000. Patients are constantly making sacrifices between their conditions and their treatment. We wanted to build something kind. We wanted to build something gentle. And so we've done that. At Gentle, we're building a headband to provide relief within 30 days, drug and side effect free. We're doing this by bridging the gap between these 2 types of treatments. Our headband increases brain activity in the area of their brain responsible for mood while maintaining the convenience of an at-home antidepressant. Patients wear a device for 30 minutes for 30 days to treat their depression. It's safe, it's effective, and it's designed to seamlessly integrate into their daily life. Here's what our device looks like. It's upside down. Putting it on is as easy as wearing a headband, and with a few taps, patients can start their session and providers can track their care wherever they are, ensuring a safe and supported experience. We generate revenue through a one-time device purchase and remote patient monitoring billing on the provider side. We already have $1 million in pre-commitments through NYU and Technical University of Munich, our academic design partnerships. Our technology is reimbursable in Europe, the UK, and Canada. I bring a background building complex software platforms, being early at Imprint, working at Bloomberg. Andrew, our co-founder, CTO, leads hardware development with his background building CAR T-cell therapy at Solaris and robotic surgeries at Verb. We're led by clinical experts like the director of NYU and the director of Technical University of Munich, who bring decades of experience in this type of care. On the commercialization side, we're led by experts who have built and scaled hardware companies and navigated complex regulations, like the ex-head of product at Google and the ex-head of technology at Philips. At Gentle, we're imagining a future where managing your mental health is as easy as wearing a headband. Thanks so much for your time. If you're interested, let's connect after the presentations.
Now introducing John Rinaldi.
John.
Hey, dude, great job, man.
Thank
Really
you.
awesome.
Thanks for being such a great mentor.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome working with you. However, the stuff that you show oftentimes can be met, and I'll be honest, my first result, kind of reaction to it, was skepticism. And the reason why is oftentimes products like this sort of feel a little bit pseudoscience-y. What do you do when someone asks you that question? I know the answer, but I'd love to hear it from you about why this isn't pseudoscience.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take this off. It's quite comfortable.
It is. I tried it earlier.
So our technology kind of started off working in tandem with Dr. Charvet out of NYU. We wanted to make sure we built something from the clinic. And so, she pioneered the first US clinic to really offer this type of care, and the results she got was really groundbreaking. Dr. Vogelman, on top of that, has conducted numerous trials also, and just the findings are quite phenomenal. Basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is our claims and our scientific basis comes from years of randomized clinical trials, rigorous analysis, and we're on our path to conduct some of our own for ourselves as well.
I saw a few others. After we talked, I went and researched. There's a few others that look similar-ish that are sold, I think, primarily in maybe some other countries. So could you just kind of talk to me a little bit why your product and your vision is a little different, and why your go-to-market approach is different than some of your competition?
Yeah, so we designed our product and with the patient and the provider in mind, with the sole focus on making something for depression or mental health. A lot of these other devices are quite frankly quite clunky. Think like, I guess for everyone in this room, think the brain scanner from like Marty McFly's, Back to the Future reference. But I think people don't want to wear that. They don't want to wear that even within their house. We wanted to make something that felt like it could be worn anywhere, that didn't carry this weight and this burden with it that I think a lot of these other devices do, especially when you're tackling something so sensitive and important as depression.
Yeah, I've seen these products that have been used in clinical settings that they send home with patients, and you're totally right. Like Doc from from Back to the Future. It's big, it's bulky, and I think you're right. Like I don't think a lot of people want to even be seen in their own home wearing that, let alone going outside. I mean, your product looks like something I could just kind of go get a coffee and wear it and not have to be judged about me wearing this product. So I think you've done a great job there. So talk to me a little bit about where we go next. What's your vision and where do we take the business from here?
Yeah, so since starting Techstars, obviously we have our pre-commitments. We've built our first device, come try it. But, you know, our goal really is to be born to be used by millions. And so I think that starts in building a product that is scalable from, you know, mom and pop, like independent psychiatrists to large healthcare systems. On top of that, we are looking to partner with digital clinics, leading MSOs. I think, you know, a few of them could be brands like, you know, Hims and Hers or Row, where that offer to care digitally can easily go to millions. And so that's where we want to go with depression. And on top of that, you know, our neuromodulation techniques have been studied and are pretty effective. There's pretty compelling early evidence in things like anxiety and substance use. So we're very keen on exploring those areas as well.
And when you think about how you go to market with this, I think you're saying like mostly through clinicians versus direct to consumer or something like this where trust is so paramount. I know FDA is kind of part of that too, but you have an easier way to get through that process, I think, based on how you've looked at it through other products that have been worked at through your clinical advisor. Could you kind of just talk to me about a little bit of that?
Yeah, so it's already reimbursable by like Health Canada, for example. In Canada, your insurance will cover it. And then obviously in Europe as well. So there's the CE mark that, I guess, Brexit happened, but the UK still follows the CE mark. And there's a few competitors kind of pushing the way forward with these, again, these like really bulky devices in the States. And our goal is to do like a 510K piggyback or just, you know, kind of pull off of that and showcase equivalency rather than like a de novo, this works and it's safe.
And I think for those that aren't familiar with the FDA process, that 510 process takes a product that has already been cleared and you're using it for a different purpose, using some of the clinical studies that have been done before. Is that kind of, can you kind of let the audience know a little bit about that process and how that's a little bit easier than many others?
Yeah. So normally, you know, there's a bunch of phases. Honestly, Kelvin could probably talk the best about this. But, you know, you have to start with bench testing, and then eventually you can maybe test on animals or people. And then once you get that preliminary efficacy, then you have to do a series of different phases to roll out a drug or a medical device. Because a lot of that road has already been paved, we just have to show that we are operating in a manner that's similar with the same contingent protocols, and we're delivering that same modulation of that same area of your brain.
God, I think totally de-risks the product in that way. So thank you. Awesome. Great job today. Congratulations.
Hello? Thanks for the treatment solution. It's time for prevention. All right. There is a mental health crisis on college campuses. In the United States, 74% of college students are experiencing mental health problems, and it is the #1 reason for dropout. For universities, this crisis translates to a $66 billion tuition revenue loss each year. And their solution? Hiring more counselors. Counselors are incredible. They change lives. But no matter how great they are, they just cannot reach everyone. The time for reactive solutions is over. It's time for prevention. At Soulfit, We're redefining how universities tackle mental health right from the pocket out of each individual student. But we're not just another mobile application. We're a mental health intervention platform built on CDC's social ecological model for prevention. And here's how we drive impact across 4 different aspects. At individual level, we help students build resilience through goal setting and wellness tracking. At interpersonal level, we connect students with peers to form real supportive friendships. At community level, we create a sense of belonging through wellness events that transform campus culture. And most importantly, at a societal level, we equip universities with data-driven insights to proactively support our risk students and shape forward-thinking policies. Let me share a recent case study with our first customer, University of Southern California. In just 5 weeks, 68% of students reported significant mental health improvements. Even more, 77% felt a stronger sense of belonging, which directly boosted their academic performance. And Soulfit's data insights also enable USC to pinpoint at-risk groups, such as female students in PhD in engineering, and deliver timely targeted support. So we're helping universities keep students engaged, healthy, and on the path to graduation. Currently, we operate on a we sell on a per student per year basis through annual contract, which ensures a recurring predictable revenue from universities. And so far, we already secured 5 letters of intent, including UC Berkeley. I'm also excited to announce that USC just signed a paid pilot agreement with us for its 50,000 students and 23,000 faculty and staff. There's more. Additionally, we've been approved by Illinois Board of Higher Education to pilot Soulfit across its 61 public institutions in the state. Thank you. We're tapping into a $67 billion digital wellness market with universities as our entry point, but we're just getting started. Our roadmap includes expansion to corporate benefits, K-12 education, and beyond, unlocking opportunities of community-based organizations of all kinds. I'm Ruby, a second-time healthcare founder, ex-Apple, and my co-founder Kenny here, stand up. A data scientist who has led major initiatives for Microsoft and EY. Together, we're on a mission to transform mental health for millions of students and beyond. Thank you.
Now introducing Varun Mahajan.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for being here and being so supportive as both a domain expert and mentor throughout the program.
It's been incredible watching you and Kenny flourish during this process and what you guys have actually produced. Absolutely incredible. Crushed it today. So as a physician and someone who's scaled a mental health company and sold it, I'm super interested in the origin story. I think it underpins the value proposition. Walk us through your origin story, your hero origin, how Soulfit came to be.
Right. So actually Soulfit, the idea, it comes from my own personal story. When I first started my MBA program first year, it was at the end of the COVID pandemic. So I felt isolated, I felt overwhelmed and constantly on edge, battling anxiety and depression. But as an international student, I didn't know what resources universities actually provide. And to be honest, I didn't even know where to start. At the same time, I actually realized universities, they had plenty of resources out there, but they didn't know I was struggling. So this mismatch of resources and need left me feel so invisible and in silence. And there are so many other students just like me. So that's why I started Soulfit. I really wanted to build something that could bridge the gap, because no student and no one should feel invisible, in silence, or lonely through the most critical time in their life.
That's an incredible story. Throughout my second part of the career where I've been investing and advising healthcare companies, I often see folks overly focused on treatment rather than prevention. And I'm curious, what was the impetus behind the prevention component of this, and how are you guys tackling the prevention of mental health?
Yeah, so to be honest, I think prevention is not just about addressing mental health challenges early. It's about fundamentally rethinking how we approach healthcare as a system. You know, in the United States, the US actually spent 17% of its GDP on healthcare. As Zach mentioned, healthcare is very costly, right? So still, there are a lot of people, they lack access to care. So this inequity really highlights the need of reduced cost of healthcare. And prevention is definitely one of the most effective ways to do so. And when we focus on building resilience, fostering community connections, and addressing all those challenges early, we're not only reducing the burden of the high, expensive reactive solutions, but we're also building the impact on a more sustainable and more long-term impact on individuals and institutions.
Well, you guys have created an incredible value proposition. Congratulations to you and Kenny. I wish you the most success. Another round of applause for these guys.
Thank you, Ver.
All right, before I do the very last presentation, can we give everybody else another round of applause for their wonderful presentations? I'm honored to be part of you. All right. 1858, Ferdinand Carré creates a box that gets cold inside. The first refrigerator. 1898, Alexander Sokolov creates a source of electricity based on light, the first solar cell. 1942, Enrico Fermi turns a chunk of metal into a powerful energy source, the first nuclear reactor. These breakthroughs seemed almost inconceivable at the time, but they were built and they changed people's lives. 2024, Kazadi Energy invents a technology that turns the heat in the air into an energy source. I'm Dr. Sanza Kazadi, founder and CEO of Kazadi Energy. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a scientist educated at Caltech. Working with partners at Argonne National Laboratory and funded by the Department of Energy and the National Science Foundation, my company developed the ring regenerator, and that breakthrough has unlocked environmental heat as a new energy category. So why is this important? Well, simply put, current technology is failing to meet the challenges to human health of a warming climate. Our technology is a fuel-independent, grid-independent energy source that meets the needs of a changing climate. The first thing we're tackling is heat. Heat is the biggest environmental killer. The UN has estimated that since the year 2000, nearly 500,000 people have died from extreme heat each year. That's one Columbus every 2 years. So what are we doing? Our technology is turning the heat in the air from an enemy into an ally. One of the biggest parts of the danger of heat is humidity. And so we're developing dehumidifiers that use the heat in the air as an energy source, dramatically reducing indoor humidity and reducing the cost of air conditioning by up to 75%. Our dehumidifiers use up to 90% less grid-based energy, protecting the grid and reducing costs. A typical $4,000 a month AC bill can be reduced to less than $1,000. My team brings more than 40 years of experience, and we're joined by advisors from world-class institutions. To date, we've raised more than $2 million of grant money, and since joining Techstars, we've completed our $400,000 pre-seed round, we've secured our first customer, and we're beginning our first pilot, transforming 2 of our 7 LOIs into active relationships. Our first revenue will arrive later this year, and will be profitable by 2026. So the AC market is huge, $200 billion, but that's just the beginning. There are so many ways in which this new technology can improve human lives. From revolutionizing the way that refrigeration is done and cooling is done, to improving the way in which we recover valuable minerals from waste, to providing clean water to everybody, everywhere, forever. I invite you to reach out, to learn more, and to join us as we bring this new energy category to life, just when it's needed. Thank you.
Now introducing Dr. Ralph Muehlisen.
All right, thank you. Great job, Sansa. I do have to admit, I'm a graduate of the University of Wisconsin and Penn State, so being part of Ohio was really difficult. I figured if I shouted, "We are," a big linebacker was going to come out and take me out. So, I've been working with you on and off for a couple years. It's really great to see where you're at now. I've seen you in times of difficulty. I've seen you in times of failure. I've seen you in times of elation. And I'm really glad to see where things have gone and where they're going now. We've seen a lot of people asking, you know, there's an elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room with your technology is how the heck are you going to pull energy out of thin air? It's 200 years ago this year that Kazadi Carneum put together his treatise that talked about the second law of thermodynamics that says you can't just magically get energy out of nothing. So how is your technology different from the 200 years of people claiming that they could harness energy, but they really couldn't do it?
Yeah, so without getting too technical about how precisely it's done, basically what we're doing, there are 2 steps to it. One of them is that we're basically just evaporating water from salt solutions. Anyone who's ever been to the ocean knows you can evaporate water from salt solutions. And then we can take those salt solutions and putting them inside our ring regenerator, and that makes it possible for us to capture and drive some of these devices that, that use salt solutions, very concentrated salt solutions, as a driver.
So I know when you came to talk with me a few years back at Argonne, there was a lot of discussion as what was the best application of your technology. And I know what we went around, you've done several pivots with the company and where you want to go. What was the aha moment that brought you where you are today here at Techstars?
Yeah, so I remember this clearly. So because of Chain Reaction Innovations, which is a program at Caltech, I was at Caltech, at Argonne. I was at Argonne when this happened, and I remember the day very clearly. You remember that day?
Yeah, I think when you came into my office.
Yeah, I came into your office that day, and I was pretty worried because we were, you know, what I told you was we're kind of staring into the abyss. If we didn't solve this one problem, our company was dead. And so I came back about an hour later and I said, hey, I've got an idea.
And we went to the whiteboard.
Yeah, that's right. And then we we worked it out, and then we said, oh, I think that'll work. So I worked with my team, we tried it out, and boom, it worked. And there was the ring regenerator, it was done. And that was just like the coolest day, I'll never forget it. And it's like those days are really, possible really because I was at Argonne and I could go across the hall and meet with these world experts on basically everything. Well, not everything, but science. And then
I don't know. We talked about a lot of things.
yeah, that's true. We did. Yeah, and then the other thing for me about that day, which is really cool, is because it was at Argonne, and Argonne is the lab which was founded in part by Enrico Fermi. So that to me was really meaningful.
So, okay, what's next?
So we are currently developing our own dehumidifiers, but the truth is that we'd rather not build our own dehumidifiers because then we have to raise money and build our own factory. So our next pilot, which is starting in just under 2 weeks, is aimed at putting our technology inside existing dehumidifiers. And that should probably be concluded by the end of next year. And after that, our partner will start selling dehumidifiers, and we just go home and start cashing checks. So that's what we're up to.
All right. Well, let's all thank Sansa and everybody else one more time. And I guess, there we go. We can hand it back to Tim.
Y'all, we did it. We've made it to the end. This was an incredible group. Hopefully I did not steer you wrong an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago, about how amazing these companies that you are going to see tonight would be. I am not going to hold you up from food and drinks any longer. Thank you so much for being here tonight, for supporting our founders, for supporting this program. It means everything. And we'll see you again around June 5th for the next batch. All right, have a good night. And founders, stay here so we can take a picture. So all the founders, stay here. Everyone else, you may go.